gentleman from Arizona is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, Joe Biden knew that Zwanitzer did not have security clearance. He also knew, Mr. Zwanitzer knew he didn't have clearance. And yet, in the process of all this working on the book, Mr. Biden chose to read and disclose classified information. So I get when our colleagues on the other side of the aisle said Joe Biden was talking to Mr. Zwanitzer, his ghostwriter, about sensitive things. They're right. Classified things that have, many of those entries remain classified even today. And her report is replete with that. Joe Biden says, do you have any idea? This is on page 106. Any idea what the heck I'm saying there? As he hands him a classified document. Mr. Biden then reads the information to Mr. Zwanitzer. Mr. Zwanitzer reads the classified documents and puts it out there. What's interesting to me is when you talk about that Joe Biden's talking about the tragic death of his son, Beau, and we all have respect for that. But there's a whole chapter in Mr. Hur's report about the classified Afghanistan documents that Mr. Biden retained and shared with the man without security clearance, Mr. Zwanitzer. And yet, we're told that we need to wait longer. That's what we just heard is don't do it today. You don't have to do it today. Just the fact that for 2 months, about every 7 days, you were having contact and communication with Zwanitzer's attorney, that's not enough. You got to do more. And that's really unfortunate here. But then when we get to the real crux of this with Mr. Zwanitzer, when he finds out what's going on, what does he do? He deletes his information. He destroys evidence. That's what he does. He destroys evidence. And so I find that really intriguing. And when we get down to the nub of this, did Mr. Zwanitzer have the opportunity to actually ameliorate this? And the answer is yes, he did. Did he choose to ameliorate it? No. Could he cure contempt? Maybe he could. He's not indicated any desire to cure contempt at this point. And the bottom line is, ultimately, was he issued a subpoena by a committee, a real committee, that had authority to issue that subpoena? And did he respond to it, or did he say, look, I'm not going to respond? And he said, I'm not going to respond. Well, now...
Will the gentleman yield for a question?
No, I'll yield to you, just like Mr. Swalwell tried to engage in a colloquy where he then refused to take answers.
I always allow people to yield when I'm speaking.
So, you know, Mr. Ivey, you do, and I appreciate that. But the bottom line is, you have a situation here. Subpoena's been issued. There's been discussions back and forth, which in my mind meets what the court said. Then not only do you have the discussions back and forth, he basically says, I'm not going to provide the information. Now you're left. I yield now.